So what is Codestar? Codestar is a platform that is provided by AWS, which is used to develop application with like ideally 5 to 6 options we'll have in this Codestar. How we can develop any application on Codestar. So in the services, inside the developer tools, you will find the option which is known as Codestar. So that Codestar will cover pipeline, okay, deploy, commit, build, artifact. So these options that we're going to cover. Okay. So how we can create any application? So to create any application, what we require, you can change your reason based on your choice. So we can click on the projects. Okay, if you'll have any projects by default, so that will shows you there, but right now there is no project. So what I'll do, I'm just going to click on this create project option. Now that will gives you some services. Okay, like first of all, that will give you a template. So in that template, what we'll have in this template, what you can do, you people can select like services, okay, type of service which they are providing, okay, the application type, what type of application you want to go with, and the programming domain, ideally domain. So what domain you want to go with. These three options it is providing us in terms of Codestar. So once I'll click on this drop down menu, see, you can check that there are multiple options provided by the AWS. You can click on the next, we'll have multiple pages. Okay, so you can go through with that option. Whatever is your requirement, accordingly you can create your application. But if you'll have a couple of setups in your mind, so based on that, what you can do, you can simply click on this template and that will first ask the service. Okay, so the service which we are going to use, that is Amazon AWS EC2, okay, Elastic Computing Cloud Environment. With Beanstalk, you can deploy your application as well. Directly, we'll have that option. Lambda, we can go with a serverless application, but initially, I'm going with this EC2. So once I'll click on this EC2, now it asks me what type of application you want to create. Either you can create a web application, web service API, a static website, Alexa skills, or AWS configuration. So like if you want to create a web application, like I'm going with a web application, you can go with any of them. For everything, they'll have a different options. I'm just going with this web application. Now it is asked for, see, if you'll see there, so now we'll have only 2 pages. If you are going to remove this, pages got increased. Okay, but if you are going with a specific template, because we know we want to create a web application that is in Java only. Okay, you want to create that in HTML5, Node.js, PHP, Python, Ruby, any of that, right? I'm just going with Java. So there is one option, which is Java Spring. So that Java Spring, in this Java Spring, you can create your application. Now I'm just going to click on next. Now it is asking for the project name. So for example, I'm just going with test project. Right. Now it is giving you 2 repository. Either you can go with code commit. This is a repository provided by AWS, or you can go with a GitHub. That is an external URL, which you can go over, like you can go set up some GitHub related credentials that we can do later as well. Okay, then EC2, what type of machine you want to associate with this project? Right, see, because when you are going to create any project, so that need a machine, a VM. So you need to provide the respective setups, that what is your RAM, okay, which operating system, what you want in that you need to set up in this line. So by default, it is going with this T2 micro instance where we'll have 1 GB of RAM and other setup. So what you can do, you can go with your choice, whatever you want. Like if you think that required a larger CPU, very larger CPU, so accordingly you can go with that. That setup you can find in the EC2 description. Then we'll have a VPC. So ideally, I'm going with this VPC. That is a default VPC provided by AWS itself. Now it is looking for the subnet. Subnet it pick automatically. Otherwise, from this drop down menu, you can select any subnet. So I'm just going with this respective subnet. So I'll have a couple of key pairs. I can go with test or Docker, any of them. I'm just going with test. That key pair we had already created. If you want to create any key pair now, so you can create it. Next, this is the configuration. And then I'm just going to click on create project. Okay, so there you will find that we'll have 6 options, okay, which are showing in our tab. IDE and repository, these 2 options will enable first. Second is pipeline and monitoring. So what is IDE? IDE is integrated development environment, which IDEs are supported by this AWS. So AWS having their own IDE, okay, they'll have a code commit. Okay, one more is there. And external IDE, which it supports, that is a console. First is a CLI. Second is Eclipse. Okay. And third is VS. Okay, Microsoft Visual Studio. Okay, like Visual Studio it supports. So you can go with any of them, any of your system to call this code on your machine, Visual Studio. So these 2 options are enabled now. So if I'll click on the IDE, so you will find that is how you can access your project code. That gives you 2 options, Cloud9 and code commit. And what IDEs locally it supports, CLI, Eclipse, and Visual Studio. See, I'll go with the Eclipse. So meanwhile, what I required, I just need to open Eclipse. So just give me a minute. Let me turn on my Eclipse. Okay, so my Eclipse is inside my C drive, right? In the C drive, I'll have this Eclipse. So let me open this Eclipse. That will take couple of minutes. So now pipeline. So what is pipeline? Pipeline is a process, right? So pipeline is a process where what we can do, where we'll have ideally in every project, we'll have 3 phases. First is a source code, which is generated by a developer. Then is a build phase, that is a compilation. And then it will going to deploy. Okay, so the deploy phase. So deployment, again, having build phase, source is your code, build is having 2 steps, deploy is having 3 steps. So we can go with any of them. Now the pipeline option is still not enabled. And monitoring is what, how your project is behaving. What is the behavior of your project that you can test with this monitoring. Okay, so we can wait for that. Meanwhile, what happened, that will launch an EC2 as well. Okay, for this project, as I tell you, it required a machine. So EC2 will be set up in the backend. That we need to check where is this EC2 setup. Right now you can check there is no instance running. No problem at all. Once that all steps will completed, after that you will find, okay, that this is running. So what I'll do, I'll just refresh this page to check the performance. Okay, still pipeline is not enabled. So see, there you can see AWS Codestar is setting up your project resources. This may take few minutes, no problem. Meanwhile, now you can see that pipeline and monitoring is enabled. So in this pipeline, first option is source that we can check. Source is just updated. Then we'll have the build phase. Build phase is in progress. After that, we'll have a deploy phase. In deploy phase, once this deployment will be done, so you will find this option get enabled, view application. So again, that will take a couple of minutes to get enabled. Right, once it will enable, so we can check it. Let me check Eclipse is open. Not yet. Okay, so we are just waiting for this Eclipse to get open. Okay, with that, we'll have, okay, how you can access your project code. Meanwhile, I'll tell you how you can access your project. Okay. Access project code. So we can go with, again, the same option, which is ID available here. Access your project code. See, so we'll have this Cloud9 and we'll have code commit. So we can access that with Eclipse later, but initially I'm going with this code commit. If you are creating or deploying any Java project, so you should be good with Java, or you should know at least what is the basic structure of Java. This is the basic structure of Java-based product. Okay, I can go to the source option. Inside the source option, I'll have this main and test file. Test is used for the testing purpose. Main is having web application and Java folder. So there you will find this folder, Java folder and web application. Static files put here, HTML, CSS, whatever we have. So I'm just going with the web application. In this web application, we'll find option. Just We can wait. Okay, still. So see, in this, we'll have this web INF. Inside this web INF, you will find views, and there you will find your project, which is index.jsp. So this is our project code. Okay, that code we can edit after some time. Okay. Meanwhile, what we can do, we can check that what is the status of our project. Where is Codestar there? Projects. Okay, so this project which we created 6 minutes before. So there I can check the pipeline. That is success. That is success. That is success. That is success. It's in progress deployment. But you can check this view application option is enabled. When this option got enabled, when we'll find, okay, that it will jump to the last step. And there we will get our output. Okay. So in this case, we need to wait for some time. And meanwhile, what we can do, we can check our instance. That is there any instance? So I need to refresh this page again. I'm just going to refresh it. Then you will find an instance will created automatically here. This is the instance. The project name, test project, web application. And simultaneously, we'll have a public IP. That public IP is this. And you can check 18.206.255.70. This is the public IP. 18.206.255.70. Let me refresh this. Okay. Okay. That will get caught up in a couple of minutes. So meanwhile, this is our step. That is in progress. Let this be completed. Once this step will completed, so we'll got our project is live now. Whatever we had created. Okay, based on that, you can perform your changes here. Okay, or anywhere we can perform our changes. So I'm just waiting for this option. Okay, meanwhile, we can check. Still, it is not up. Once that will up, so that will immediately load it. That will up from the backend. Status is in progress. Let me refresh this page. Okay, that is success just now. Just now it's success. And this is our output. That application is created by AWS. We had not tried a single line of code. Okay, so how we can perform the changes? So if I want to perform some changes once again. So how I can perform the changes in the code? So we'll have a couple of ways. So you can go with any way. I mean, either you can do this from your application, whatever you are using, or you can use that with this IDE. Okay, the Eclipse IDE, which we people are having. So initially what I'm going to do, I'm just going to edit this with that code commit option. So there I'm getting congratulations. So where is congratulations? There. So let me type congratulations. Okay, first of all, I need to click on this edit button. Once edit will be done, see, I'm admin, so I can do anything, right? If I want to give this access to someone else, so I need to provide them an IAM role so that that user can access this. So I'm just going with this AWS. Congratulations, AWS test. So still this is not committed, right? So there you will find that there is no option, but in the bottom you will find commit changes. But if you are going to click this button, you need to enter these details, author name and email address. So let me click on commit if that is required. So I'm just going to type my name and my mail, any mail ID. Okay, there you can enter any mail ID because that is fetching details from this account, because this account is responsible to perform this change. Now, once I'll click on commit change, so you'll notice this will automatically, see, we can wait here. You can check the time, it's 18:21. That will automatically got updated with just now because source is changed now. Guys, source is changed. So we can just wait for a couple of minutes to check that is it coming to just now. All the steps will deploy. Source, build, and deploy. All steps will execute again. So we can just wait for this option now. Now that is just got success. Source and build is there. And see that was showing old deployment. That was 6 minutes before. Now what we can do, we can wait for this option to build, for deploy, everything. So that will take again a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, what we can do, we can set up this in this tool, okay, in this Eclipse IDE. So how you can do this? First of all, you should have this AWS toolkit. If you don't have this AWS toolkit, you can go to the help. There you'll have the Eclipse marketplace. In this marketplace, you can simply type AWS, okay, and that will shows you AWS is here. If that is installed, that will give you a message installed. Otherwise, you can download it from here. Okay. So to access your project code, we require a IAM user, which have access of, secret access key, as well as Git account. So Git credential. So who will going to provide a Git credential? Of course, this AWS. So these two things we require, and a permission. Okay, so we can go with any permission, whatever we'll have, we can go with the permission. So there you can type AWS. If I'll click enter, so I'll find that AWS is already installed in my Eclipse. So that is already installed in my Eclipse. Still it is showing install option. You can go with that. I can check on my Eclipse. Right, so you can install it, and after that, that will got reflected. Let me try in my Eclipse. There. So I need to import a Codestar project, guys. So I'll just click on this button in this drop-down menu. I'll just click on this button. But meanwhile, okay, so that is showing my profile, my earlier profile. But still, see, I'm a IAM user, so I need some access. So what I'll do, I'll jump to this IAM, where you'll find IAM in security. Inside, we'll have this option of IAM, identity and access management. So either you can create a new user, provide them access, anything. Okay, so I already have 2 users, but let me create a new user. So I'll just click on this user option. Okay, so there I'm just going with add user. I'm just going with the user name test, any name you can go. And right now, see, it is necessary for me to give them any access. I'm just giving a console access. Okay, because I'm not giving this access. That access we can generate later. Next, permission. Right now, I'm not going with any permission. Next, create user. So now this user is created test, but still it does not have any access. So I need to provide a respective access to this user. How we can do this? All right. So I'll go back to this test user. And there I need to give a permission. So what permission? So see, I can go from the existing policy. Codestar. I need to type this Codestar. Yeah. Service role. This project is running, so contributor, owner, I can give him permission boundary and viewer. These permissions I'm giving. Okay, this is our full access. So that full access can also work. Next, add permissions. Now permissions are added for this user, but still it requires a security credential, because in AWS, we'll have 2 types of access. What are the access in AWS? First is CLI based access, that is used for software development, software SDK API. Second is a console access, that is used to like change anything from this end, from the services option. Okay, so we'll go with this first option, CLI based access. So what is the secret access and secret access key? So there we don't have that. Let me create it for the very first time. This is the option. I can copy this and paste it on my notepad. This is secret key. Show, this is secret access key. Now I have these two, but these two are not enough. I also required this get credential to perform the code commit. Meanwhile, let me check what is the status of my project. Okay, that is just now. Let me check. Do we get that option? Congratulations, AWS test. Of course, that is there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to access this through Eclipse. So configure AWS profile. Okay, add profile. So the name is test. This is a case sensitive, guys. So you need to input that data as a case sensitive. This is my secret access key. And this is the access key which we'll have. Copy. Let me check. Will it work? You can click on apply. Okay. No, that is, see, what it is looking for, that you should maintain an Excel file from where if you'll upload any data, so that can fetch that get credential from the backend. But right now I'm going with no. So this is the user test. Okay. And there, what is the reason, guys? Reason we can check here. Here, that is not Virginia. So I'm just going with this and Virginia, and that is loaded. And this is of a project. It means that works. This Eclipse is working. Right. So repository is loaded, but still it is required this get credential. So again, how we can access that get credential from this? Click on that. This is the username. Let me paste it. Paste, and this is the password. Copy. We'll have that button. With that, we can copy that. Password is already in clipboard. So what I'll do, I'll just copy password first. I think there is some mistake. Yeah, now that is copied. This is the username. Let me paste that username here. Paste. Next. We'll got this master if everything works fine. Okay, we'll get the master option. If everything works fine, we'll got it. Okay, and then what we can do next, finish. Now this project will fix there. Okay, listed there. In a couple of seconds, you'll find this project on left hand side. That is there now. Perfect. Now we can perform this project. If I want to perform any editing, so that I can do from this end. Okay, that is taking time. 1 second, we can wait. That is refreshing workspace, everything it is working on. All right, okay, enable Maven. I cannot close this window because that is fetching everything. We don't have the minimize option even. And even I cannot stop this. Why? This is the complete project structure which is listed on the left hand side. Okay. Fine. Now project is open. So if you want to perform any changes from this end, so again, we'll go to the same option. We'll have the source option. Okay. There we'll have the resources option. That is a complete Java based setup. Okay. This is the other options where we'll have the main, web app, web INF, views, index.jsp. This is the file. Now again, see, if you want to perform any changes again, so what you can do, congratulations. Let me remove this test. Okay, I'm just going to remove this test. Once I'll press Control S, so changes are saved. But how can I push this on the server, on the live server? So again, I'll right click on my project. Okay, once I'll right click on your once you'll right click on your project, so you will find an option that is team. Inside this team, you will find a commit option. So you can click on this commit option. That will load it this thing in the bottom. So in this file, I'll perform a changes. So what is my message? My message is I did my work, because now I am a sub user. I am a IAM user. This is my ID. This is my default Git ID, which is fetching there. Now I can just click on, if I'll click commit, that will save on the Git repository. If I'll click on commit and push, that will push to web server. And what we can check over here, 1 second, there, now that will start again. Earlier that was 10 minutes before, that is close. Now we can wait for this to convert to just now. This is the push which is coming from the tool, the local IDE, which we are using as an Eclipse. That will take a couple of minutes again. Anything pending on Eclipse? Nothing seems. Now, that is just now. Now, after 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever time it will take, this code will refresh. Not now, not now. Guys, these steps need to be completed. First, this build, deploy, and then these all three phases in deployment phase. So it's in build is in progress now. Okay, so that will take a couple of minutes more. So I think that's it from my side. Okay, that will just got uploaded in a couple of times, couple of seconds. Okay, so now we can see that this last step is in progress. Okay, we can refresh this. Still, that step should be completed. This should be success. Okay, so that is success. Now we can check this, and there we'll go. Okay, guys, so this is all about the Codestar. Thank you.